everyone, my name is Tiffany. Welcome back, or welcome if you've never been here before. Today, we're going to be reading a lot of pirate romances, books set at sea for the Swashbuckling Readathon. I have an announcement video up on my channel right now. This is a readathon that has been organized by Hannah Blackwell. I'm co-hosting along with B from Mama Needs to Read Romance, Jess from Honest Fiction, and April from Happily Ever April. And I'm so excited about it because I just feel like pirate romances are perfect for the summer and the prompts tickle me. I've already started my reading. This is going to be from the 5th to the 12th. It's dark 30 on July 4th, so you might hear some fireworks. I'm starting with Ballad of Sea and Sky by Madeline Elliott. This is a first for me by her. This is going to be hitting the Walk the Plank prompt, a book set at sea. And already the writing is just easy to settle into. I thought that our heroine, who is living a royal life of rigidity, she is a princess in a kingdom where they're not expecting her to do much, but basically bear the next heir. And she's giving the Little Mermaid with her unsanctioned swims of investigation, because I was expecting her to be the siren, and she isn't. She's a selkie. She doesn't know much about sirens, which I find to be curious. That leads me to believe that she's very sheltered. And I've made my way to the captor-captive portion of the book, which is a microtrope that I thoroughly enjoy. And I also find it interesting that this book opens up with quite literally a ballad, and the lyrics speak to what I'm hoping is the romance that we're going to experience, because her kingdom ensnares the siren pirate king, who is their enemy, who she knows nothing about, right around the time that she's been arranged to marry another. And of course, our pirate king kidnaps her, brings her aboard, but it's interesting because I was not expecting a siren hero to be celestial. I mean, look at the artwork. Just look at the artwork, okay? Of course, she's gonna be drowning in those depths, and she's gonna be mesmerized by those a winged siren with song. I'm just very curious for his reasons to why he's holding her for ransom, to extort her father's hand, the political strife that's kind of in the undercurrent. I have to get the pun in. But yes, like in the undercurrent of everything that's sort of been going on in the opening, I'm curious, I'm drawn in, and I'm set. I think I should be able to get through this tonight. We shall see. I do stay up late, so I'll be back with more thoughts. And maybe I'll jump into the next book, because this is a duet. I am going in expecting there to be a cliffhanger, and I believe the second book's there for me to start, so. I thought when I went to the gym I was gonna get more reading done than I actually did, but then they put on Twilight. So I still was able to finish Ballad of Sea and Sky, and I do enjoy the fact that this is truly a star-crossed lovers type of romance. How Marina is getting more freedom and agency through her captivity with Caspian than she ever had at home in her own kingdom. How his pirate crew is egalitarian. She's seeing that women have rights. She's seeing a mingling of the species outside of the realm that her father rules. And what I was hoping for in this one, that I do believe that we're going to get in the second book, was more on the actual ballad itself that sort of opens the book. It does come into play, and it speaks to Caspian's reasons for why he kidnaps her and the type of leader he is. And that is really kind of what got me with this book, and also their tension. I love characters that are reluctant to fall, and so I liked the banter between them. This is a slow burn, and I'm also challenged by the fact that I love a survival romance. And the lull in this book, because I do feel like the pacing fell off for me for quite a while, it revealed to me that every pirate romance that I'm going to be picking up this week is going to be a survival romance just at sea. Yet the survival aspects in this book just were drawn out a little too long for me and just what I find to be engaging. Although arguably I do think that it is pivotal for her as a character, because she needs to show herself what she's capable of. And in that, they are forced into proximity and do get to kind of develop their relationship together. And so it's needed. I just didn't like how it felt so drawn out. And I feel like because of how it ended, I'm more excited to get to the elements in terms of the political unrest that is happening in this world. And I believe that I'm not gonna get that until the second book. So for those reasons, I am gonna rate this 3.5 stars. I do believe that they come together as a couple, as star-crossed lovers. I'm gonna continue to say that. By the end of this first part, it does end on a cliffhanger, but I feel like she's in her full, she's just starting to come into herself and her agency and her voice, and it was actually really great to see that. I also was not expecting this to have chronic illness representation. She has a lung deficiency, and as a Selkie that's underwater, that has been something that she has always apologized for, and it's one thing that Caspian, I just love how he is a caretaker of her and also teaches her that there's nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to what she needs to do to take care of her body. That element I enjoyed. So there are a lot of things that were working for me in this, but ultimately like the meat of it that I really want to get to, I'm hoping is in the second part of this duet. So I feel like she did what she set out to do, because I will be picking up the second book. I'm just not doing it right now because I have started A Ship of Bones and Teeth by Karina Halley, and I'm already really enjoying it. This is a dark fantasy retelling of The Little Mermaid, and I've already met Marin. We've gotten a prologue which just kind of describes the big deal that she makes with the Sea Witch. But it's the way that this is written. It is very atmospheric while being visceral. I'm immediately invested in her as a character. And I think there's just a great moment in this after we're kind of introduced to the story and after she too is taken captive. Their meet cute was everything. But I just want to speak to how this opens and like give you an example of, it leans purple a bit. It's descriptive, but I want to give you like a kind of sample of what I mean. Like the first couple lines of this thing, I knew that this was going to be a bit different. I've read quite a few Karina Halley books. She writes very broadly, and she does have trigger warnings in here and an author's note, so I implore you to read that. Although I haven't come across anything just yet, I do know that Prince Eric, who she quite literally sacrifices everything for, is emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive. The physical abuse is showcased by its markings, is showcased through her being the shell of who she once was, and it's not physically on the page. It's not active. He's threatening, and again, I feel the air of it, but I have yet to like see him physically do that on the page, just in case you are questioning. But how this opens and why I just was like, okay, I'm set, and hopefully not going to read this all in one sitting. I just want to start this tonight and have at least some of it read before Hannah's reading spritz tomorrow. So the opening line to this is, "There was no moon on the night I decided to sell my soul." She goes on to say, first paragraph of the book, immediately drawn. "The waters were as dark as octopus ink, and for the first time in a long time, I was afraid. It's as if I finally realized not only what I was about to do, but what I had already done." Ominous warnings that we fail to heed. I just was very excited from the beginning because Karina Halley has range when it comes to the tone, and I was in it, baby. And now I'm sad because I'm at the meet cute where Captain Ramsay Bones Batista commandeers her ship that she's on with Prince Eric, and they are taken for ransom, and he thinks that she's going to be a sweet young lass of a princess. He presumes her to be drowning, and she punches him in the face. This is their meet cute. She punches him in the face, and from that moment on, he can see that there's something different about her. Something isn't adding up. And I am intrigued so far. So hopefully I can get a good portion of the way into this before reading sprints. I just wanted to update you on where I'm at right now. I am set. I am living. I'm loving the fantastical elements. Captain Ramsay Bones Batista is a character. Okay, he's very charismatic, crass. I'm loving the side characters on his pirate ship so far, the crew. This is going to be a swashbuckling time, I can tell. So I will be back when I have more thoughts. I am sold on buying non-seasonal diamond paintings. This coaster bagel is the first diamond painting that I've actually finished, because I keep buying, because I'm a hoe for a theme, okay? I keep buying seasonal diamond paintings that are huge and I never finish them in time for the holiday. I'm very proud, okay? I'm very proud. Anyway, I just had to give this its moment and also say, I've already reviewed some of my footage from yesterday, so I hope Editing Me has popped in and fixed that. I don't know what happened to the audio, and maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's for the best when it comes to A Ship of Bones and Teeth by Karina Halley, which I do believe, for me personally, is her best work. It is my favorite book that I have picked up by her, and she writes so broadly. I think she's an author that has range. It just was masterful to me. I mean, this is, someone's looking for a fantasy romance, I'm recommending it. If they're looking for a retelling, I'm recommending it. It is absolutely stunning. It's fun. It's fantastical. It's hard-hitting. The ending rocked me. It was absolutely incredible. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? There are quotables within this that completely rocked me. And just from the very beginning, from their meet cute, from the first punch, I kind of knew there was something different about her. No, it tracks earlier than that with A Ship of Bones and Teeth. It's from the moment where she's looking at herself in the mirror and she doesn't even recognize her own reflection. But this just, it's well plotted. Okay, there are strong reasons for why there's angst between them. And oh God, I'm just like, I'm sick over them. I'm sick over their all-consuming, ever-prevailing love story. It's so freaking good. It's such a piratey book. It is absolutely fantastic. The magical elements, the world, the lore, it makes sense. And at every point, I understood the characters' investments and reasons for why they were making the decisions that they were making. I was on the edge of my seat. There are parts that are very dark. I think her trigger warning in the beginning of this book is fitting, yet I do not feel like the darker elements of this book were gratuitously placed. There are moments that are going to live rent-free in my mind. I absolutely love this book. It's her best work. Hands down, 5 stars. It is now a new addition to an all-time favorite pirate romance. An addition to, every single time I talk about A Ship of Bones and Teeth, I mean, I'm gonna have to go in and re-edit because I was acting a complete fool yesterday. As I've said, I feel like things happen for a reason, so maybe a more polished, well-rested me can come back and speak over the audio that I didn't capture last night, but I feel like I'm always staring at Captain Bennett Sharp because it's an addition to Sea of Ruin. I'm always going to love Sea of Ruin. It's always going to be an all-time favorite historical romance. And now I have something to add to that. I was not expecting to come into this readathon and walk away with that. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And I feel like I'm on a roll here. Okay? I feel like I'm on a roll because Any Duke in a Storm by Amelie Howard, she's a new to me author. And the setup of this book is just We meet Raphael. He is in prison. It's mentioned that he once was a duke. His title is in question. He's been double-crossed and betrayed. He escapes from said prison. On his way to the docks, he finds a ship to climb aboard, and that is when we're introduced to our heroine, who is an agent for the crown, yet she's on a mission for the Americas. She's retrofitting a bomb to make haste because she believes her cover's been blown. And it is on her ship called the Siren that is woe-manned by women that he sort of hustles his way onto as their navigator. And I am just like, let's go, because she's capable. She is lethal. She has the skills to back it up. She's also bisexual. Wasn't expecting that. You know, she's had past dalliances, but she is a woman about her business. She's been undercover for over a year now, and she's trying to infiltrate the smuggling ring that I believe Raphael might be a part of, might have some access to, which is why they're being thrust together. But I'm very, very intrigued because she feels like someone that is going to be more than fun to follow. Just because, I mean, like, she's fierce. The woman is fierce. Okay, I'm just like, her persona that she goes by is Bonnie Bess. A pirate freaking queen that doesn't take any mess. I'm here for it. And I don't know, that's just the tactical just aspect of her jimmy rigging this bomb to make a distraction to get away. And then I'm learning that she has this crew of women that that have come together. It's just like, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. He's aboard. I'm aboard. We're all aboard. And I'm excited because I have seen this book wrecked by Christy from Christy Reads a Lot. April loves this book, so I feel like I just need to continue going down the vein of reading everyone's favorites, possibly. This has been a success. I will be back when I have more thoughts. I got my diamond painting done. I'm not sure when this will be finished, but I'll pop in. I'll be back. So this is going to be a quick check-in because I'm not that far into the book. I'm only on chapter 10. And I'm not ever sure where I'm looking when I'm filming on my phone. But I just want to say 2 terms of endearment that I'm loving from this romance are Valkyrie. Are you kidding me? Can we add that into historical romance more? He calls her Valkyrie and Viking, and I love that. But one thing that I'm coming live to in terms of my reading taste is that I normally don't like a hidden identity trope, or I have a little trepidation when it comes to that because I'm always questioning whether or not their love interest is interested in them or if they've fallen in love with that identity. And here, what I really enjoyed about their dynamic, I mean, the argumentative flirting, sword fighting, it's action packed. This is perfect for the prompt of an adventure book. Dead men tell no tales. I love that. I love how Hannah put the prompts together for this readathon. But what I really enjoyed about this, the reason why she immediately doesn't trust him, and the reason why she can see past his visage, past his mask, is because she dons one herself. And so for me, I feel like that's the first step in seeing. And of course, she's trying to fight her attraction towards him, and he leans into it because that's the jest. But I think what I really enjoyed about him as a hero is that her persona of Bonnie Bess is something that he finds intriguing, and he's so interested in seeing her in action at the very beginning of this book, and he's in awe of her skill sets. And the fact that she knows that he's hiding something because of how he carries himself in return. And so I like that first step into seeing one another for who they truly are, and how at this point in the book, they're being kind of thrust together and put on the same team, so to speak, into taking down the same enemy. And I'm really, really liking it. I mean, it's action packed. I love the tit for tat between them. The banter is on point. Like, I'm really into this. I'm really into this. So hopefully I can get more read. Tomorrow we have reading sprints on April's channel at 8 a.m. And for me, I'm kind of the type of woman, if we're writing at dawn, it's because we've stayed up all night. So it's gonna be a pajama party. I'm sure I have a onesie for that, and I have some ideas for my second book, but I think I'm gonna ask for some help in picking that. See you when I've gotten farther along. I don't know who I am, but I made it to Reading Sprints on time in formation. We all did, so that was a lot of fun. And I got to see Jess from Honest Fiction's onesie, her shark onesie. I need to get one of those. I'm happy to report, okay, that Annie Duke in a Storm by Amelie Howard was a slam dunk. She stuck that third act landing. And what I mean by that is that I just feel like the inevitable reveal was done very well. There's a double agent sort of aspect to it without saying too much. The hero falls first. The plot got me. It was very well done. I also like how she writes kids in 2 books, because that can be touch and go for me, as well as feeling like in a historical such as this, that either one of the love interests has to give up a part of themselves in order to garner that HEA, and I did not feel like that happened. And so I am very happy to report that this is the second book within this readathon where I feel like I have a new addition to favorites when it comes to pirate romances. I was not expecting to come out of this readathon with that, so I'm very happy, pleasantly surprised, because this is a first for me from Amelie Howard. So very happy. I have moved on to my next read. This is a recommendation from Cynthia from Kindle After Dark. She continues to just gift me with bangers from Ash Raven. A Pirate Queen of Ruin. The other book that I read by Ash Raven was an alien shark shifter romance. Okay, that was 3 stars for me. Okay, it was fun, it was cute, sexy, to the point. This is more in the vein of feminine rage. And so far, it feels as though this is a pirate ship that is sailing across worlds and time. This is sapphic, and so far I've met a heroine that was betrayed by her brother. It feels as though she was a healer, and the beginning is pretty dark because she's being dragged through a temple. Her brother's forcing her hand in marriage to their enemy of a distant land. They betray their kingdom, and she is assaulted, thrown into the sea, and saved by a sea goddess with tentacles called Love. And in exchange for her power, she has to seek revenge against those who have betrayed her. And it almost feels as though across hundreds of years, she's been using the power of love to avenge women across time and across worlds, and sailing on this pirate ship in that vein, in the promise to one day find her fated mate, which she's lost hope in. And then we pick up with our other heroine, who's in our contemporary day in New York. She's an it girl. I'm talking page 6, Upper East Side, curvy heroine in this very verbally and financially abusive situation with this guy that she's trying to get out of with an affair clause. And she hatches this plan to catch him in the act on their yacht engagement party, where he double crosses her, plans to kill her. She's cast out into the sea, and the sea goddess saves her there as well. And it's the beginning of their rejected fated mate story. And we learn that this is a pirate ship manned by a slew of mythical creatures who all have these harrowing backstories, who've all been tasked to protect women and avenge their stories. And I'm just thoroughly interested in seeing where this goes and what this is about. So far, it's been a bit steamy, and I'm not sure where we're going. And I give you all of that context because it has taken me a minute to sort of get into the beginning of it, but now I feel like it's heating up because I realize the full scope of the concept, and it's really cool, very unique, and I'm in it now. So I'm very excited about this, and we'll see where it goes. I'll be back when I have more thoughts, but thank you, Cynthia. the last day of the readathon and I'm definitely enjoying the snack and drink portion of the prompts. I literally just made what I always have, which is Diet Cherry 7-Up. I just made the rim pretty with sugar and added lime. That's my drink. And then I am inspired by a recipe that Lynn sent me, which is so sweet, but I don't have the ingredients for her margarita pie recipe, but this is so cute. And so I'm kind of inspired by it, and I'm going to be making my own little kind of calorically conscious pie right now. So I'm using the little Keebler pie crust cups, non-fat Greek yogurt. I've mixed in, I love to do this because it kind of like adds whatever taste you want, but I'm using the 0 sugar Jell-O cheesecake flavor. You add that in. You can put protein powder in this. You cannot put protein powder in this. I put protein in it. And then I'm going to dye it blue because I kind of want to make a little ocean and top it off with the Smart Sweet Sweetest Fish. I think it would be cute. So I'm going to try to theme it out and fill you in on all of the books that I did talk about on Instagram, because I have a tendency to go there first before I update my vlog. So I'm going to catch you up because since we've last spoken, I have finished the Pirate Queen of Ruin. I finished a novella and I've started a whole nother book, The Noble's Merman. So far, this is looking really good. It's looking like ocean. In fact, I do like the white, you know, little seashore. But anyway, in terms of a reading update, which is probably why you're here, Pirate Queen of Ruin. I am now solidifying Ash Raven as an author that is on my radar. When I come across a new to me author, it takes repeated investment of my eyeballs and my money on their work for me to consider them to be a new for me author. This is the second that I've read by her, and I just feel like I was not expecting that third act that resolved the rejected mate trope. That was so fantastically fun, and also I felt like it was unique. I wasn't expecting that in a romance. It also had a romantic suspense edge, and again, it is feminine rage on the page. It's very spicy on a collective level as well, and I had a very good time with it. And she's switching through tones within the same book. I will say it took me a minute to get used to that because this pirate ship is traveling through time. The tones really reflect that. And so I ultimately am rating this 4 stars. After which I read Capture the Colors by Elena Barreño. Oh my gosh, this is coming out so freaking cute. I really wish she had more within her backlist because I thoroughly enjoyed the writing. This is an historical following a Spanish doctor who's in Jamaica, gets thrown in jail, is mistaken for being the cause of a brawl when in fact he was aiming to stop one. And when they find out he's a doctor, they have him begin tending to the inmates that have injuries. One being a pirate captain that is set to be sent to the gallows within a week. So he begins to tend to him. It is their romance. There is caretaking. I will say this is action-packed. I really enjoyed this. It also felt like a slow burn for a novella. The dialogue made sense when it came to the characters. It was quick, it was witty, it was swoony. She also wrote a child on the page very well, which is difficult for me to fall for. So I'm eager to get to the rest of her backlist, even though there isn't that much. And so now I am in The Noble's Merman by S.S. Genesee. I got this recommendation, or I became aware of it because of who? Cynthia from Kindle After Dark. She's always feeding me great books. This is an historical as well, between a nobleman and a merman. And what I loved about this was the opening. We are drafted in through Mo, who is a merman with the gift of siren song, which isn't something that every merfolk has, and it has ostracized him from his community. That and his intrigue of humans, and the way that he sort of assuages his guilt for having to feed in the siren way is by taking down pirate ships in order to help other sailors. And so we meet him as he's scavenging a pirate ship for wares and treasures. And the moment he hears a human man singing a beautiful song that lures him in. I loved the role reversal in this because Kent is at the seashore to clear his head after fighting with his father incessantly about why he's not interested in marrying. Kent is in his late 20s. His father wants him to get married and ensure that he will inherit the earldom with a heir himself. And in this book, I was just not expecting it to be a friends to lovers, where they are meeting in secret at the seashore, sharing each other's cultures. They're exchanging the knowledge that they've learned of each other and food, and it is just so freaking sweet. And due to the stigma of sirens, Mo may or may not be keeping a certain part of himself concealed. And then absolutely Kent is keeping their secret meetings from his father. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I've made it much further along than that setup, but I owed you something, and I'm going to finish these off, try to finish the book off, and wrap this vlog up because I've honestly had a really good time. I've read some really, really great books, and this has just been so much fun. It's kind of gotten me out of my hidey hole a little bit too. So I will definitely be back to wrap everything up. I am finally back to wrap up this reading vlog, and I am smitten. I got comp tickets to Particle Ink again, which is an interactive show where you follow the performers around and you can choose to go in different rooms. And so the show is different every single time, and I decided to do that. I know during reading sprints, if you did attend, I talked about the Mirage. If you do not know, I live here in Vegas. The Mirage is an iconic property that's known for their volcano show. Also wildlife, thankfully the dolphins have been rehomed, but the Mirage sadly has been sold. It's getting torn down and they're throwing up a Hard Rock. So I wanted to do a final walkthrough of the Mirage. It closes on the 17th. I still have time to do that, but I didn't decide to do that in this vlog because the Mirage is a land of mayhem right now. The Mirage is legally bound by the Gaming Commission to give all of what they have left from the progressive jackpots to the people. And so they've been raffling off $40,000 an hour. They still have 1.6 left, $1 million to raffle off. They've been raffling off thousands of dollars an hour, and you have to be playing in order to win. And they've shut down a considerable portion of the casino floor. Needless to say, there have been fights breaking out and just foolishness. I wanted to have a nice lap of remembrance, not mayhem. So you will be seeing me go there because I have to do it before it's torn down in a future vlog style wrap up. I'm just throwing that out there for the people that were hoping to see that in this vlog. We went to Particle Ink instead, and I had a lovely time, and I am completely smitten with the Nobles Merman. I'm going to ultimately rate it 4.5. I cannot wait to tell you what I found out from the author's note. But the third act of this, I won't say how, but they figure out a way to go from secret rendezvous into a practical way for them to be together. And it does take a darker tone. And I will say it's situated in the time. The fact that these are two men, well, one of sorts, aiming to be together in this historical time period. It felt very real. There was found family vibes. I was loving that. We get other sea creatures and characters, and I think it has the potential to be a series. I hope so. I hope that she continues, but I'm ultimately rating it 4.5 stars. It was just so sweet. But don't let this fool you. It's also steamy. Okay, we're getting into the merman anatomy, and then goes there when it comes to their physical exploration of another. It also gets a bit gory. Okay, there were just a lot of elements that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I was just sold on their romance, the found family aspect, how it wrapped up. It's absolutely swoon worthy, and I loved them. And then I made my way to the author's note, and I learned that S.S. Genesee is also the illustrator for all of her works. That is where her stories come from. I had no idea. And that The Noble's Merman is a AU an alternate universe of her beloved characters Maurice and Kent that are from her previously published duet. That is also an MM historical set in the 1970s, but it's a serial killer romance, okay? All Tomorrow's Photos is following Maurice. He's an artist, a photographer, and he's really obsessed with the grotesque and the disturbed, and he starts serial killing in order to enhance his art. And one day he comes across Kenneth's photograph and has to capture him. So Kenneth is an RA, he's a nurse, living a very mundane life as the synopsis suggests, and his sister comes to him requesting on behalf of her classmate for him to model for Maurice's portfolio, and it is their romance. I cannot wait to get into this duet, knowing that The Noble's Merman is an AU, an alternate universe of these two characters. I have to meet the OGs. So I feel like I found a new author. I think it's so cool that she's an illustrator and she actually crafts her stories around her artwork. So I'm excited about that. I feel like this entire readathon was just full of new favorites. I had so much fun. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please consider subscribing around, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.